I understand the sentiment behind what they're trying to do in terms of restore some credibility in the sport, but it seems heavy-handed and clumsy, and in some ways it's a bit disrespectful as well, particularly to those people who over the years created not only their own performances, but that's been part of the history and tradition of our sport. And if there are those who in the past have cheated, that's been the fault of the federations for not having done their job properly over the years. And it's not really fair on those who were clean to throw all of their records out with those that they think may have been tainted.
I can understand that, and I can understand why some people who will be affected by this and say that they always competed clean would be very upset about it. However, I put to you the name of Florence Griffith Joyner, the woman who holds still, almost 30 years on, the 100 and 200 metre records. Some doubt as to whether they'll ever be beaten, and of course a very heavy cloud of doubt as to whether they were achieved without artificial help.
Well, that's one way of looking at it. I'm not going to argue with that, but I'm still the British record holder for the mile, and Seb Coe is still the British record holder for the 800 metres, and they were before Florence Griffith Joyner. So just because nobody better has come along, is that suggesting that we were all cheats as well? I mean, I understand that. I absolutely understand it. But again, that was the fault of the International Federation and others who allowed those situations to take place. And to blame all of the athletes who've set records over the years, not blame them as such, but to sort of throw them into the same pot just seems, as I said, a little heavy-handed to deal with a problem that is now and is current. And I really don't see that this is going to make things any better. I don't see that it's going to stop people cheating. We have stricter criteria now in terms of awarding records, but that's the way sport has always gone. But to draw an arbitrary line on January the 1st, 2018 and we're all meant to assume that everything we see from then on is kosher in terms of particularly drugs, etc., then that's asking, I think, an awful lot of people to suspend an awful lot of belief.
Seb Coe was a near contemporary of yours as an athlete. He's now obviously the most powerful man in athletics. Reportedly, he's fully behind this idea. Have you spoken to him? Have you tried to persuade him that perhaps this is not the right track to go down?
I haven't spoken to Seb, no. I did speak to the president of the EAA over the weekend. He and I and Seb go back an awful long way, and the two of them are doing an awful lot to try and restore credibility. I just don't agree that this is a viable option going forward. I really don't see that it makes a difference.
One of the things I pick out from what you just said, Steve, was we should be trying. Do you think that the IAAF, the sports governing body, is doing enough, given how bad the situation got in 2015? Is radical enough action being taken, this move aside?
Look, we're moving forward, and yes, since Seb's been in place, he's managed to drive some fairly, not radical changes, but things that are certainly given us the kind of opportunity, if you like, to challenge federations. So, for instance, the ban on Russia is currently still standing. I'd like to see that widen to other countries who aren't doing enough. Get people to move a bit more quickly into the place where we might see ourselves in terms of drug testing. A lot more money needs to be put into it. We need the IAAF, the EAA, other federations, and indeed international sport to really take the problem seriously.